They finally came together, the two McLarens. We've been waiting for it, expecting it. Zach Brown and McLaren themselves has said it will happen at some point. It is inevitable. They come together down the pitch straight in Canada. But in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the 2025 Canadian F1 Grand Prix from the perspective of a driver, coach, and mentor. If you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're going well. My name's Martin. I'm a specialist technical coach and mentor for open Formula drivers. Let's kick off with the start and the defensive postures. We spoke about this yesterday. I'll bring you guys over to the whiteboard now and we'll have a look at it together. I pretty much said, I think both the guys just need to go straight. So I didn't see a need necessarily for Russell to angle his car across to the right-hand side. I also didn't see a need per se for Max Verstappen to angle his car either. My eyes are kind of on here, the apex over here. But I guess George was right. If he does angle his car across, then he can just, he can just get there earlier. So I think that makes sense for George, and that was actually a good play by him and an oversight by me. For Max, why he would want to go across that way, I'm not sure. Potentially he was defending from P3, who was Oscar Piastri down in P3. So potentially that was the reason why. But again, if you go that way, then Piastri's got the option of going straight as well. I didn't quite understand it from Max's point of view. I just thought he was on the clean side, remember? All he had needed to do was get a good start and a good straight. I'll bring up the shot as well that I took of it just so you guys can see it. This is it here. So you've got George, like we say, trying to come across this way, trying to take the shortest distance. With Max, it was interesting. You've also got Kimi Antonelli pointing across that way in P4. Just as I look at it, you've got Hamilton in P5, so everyone on this side of the grid pointing across, and the front two from that side of the grid pointing across as well. That's P2 and P4, Antonelli and Verstappen as well. I don't think those guys needed to, because if they just run straight from the clean side of the grid, then I think they were fine. So interesting, I thought I'd call it out. Not much really transpired. A few nice moves in lap one that we need to talk about. So obviously Antonelli getting around the outside of Piastri. We spoke about that yesterday as well on the whiteboard. We said if you can get around the outside of someone at turn one, then that's going to give you the inside into turn two. I've even got my little line, my red line drawn, exactly what we spoke about. So someone going around the outside of turn one, getting into turn two, that's the card that Kimi Antonelli pulled on Oscar Piastri. So that was one of the first good moves that we should call out. Colapinto up the inside of Alex Albon at turn 8 as well was another good move. And Nico Hülkenberg, who read both of them, Colapinto and Albon, got his car into the points there on lap 1. By way of anticipation, just reading the room, two cars going into the turn 8 chicane together. Nico just pulling back, so I'm going to focus on getting a good exit and then just drill both of these guys. I speak on this channel a lot about anticipation. I think anticipation is significantly more valuable, and anticipation is the play and the card that you want to go for, as opposed to reactions or reflexes or responding to a situation. If you watch tennis, for example, you'll find that when they're hitting the ball to each other, they're not necessarily reacting to where the shot is going to go from their opposition, but they're kind of already anticipating like just the flow of the match, if that makes sense. And the same with the serve. They're trying to read the toss and get an idea of the chances that it's going to go T-serve or wide serve. I think anticipation is a massively big thing. Even when you're driving as well, reacting to a slide, that if that's what you're doing, then you're not really reading the car that well. You should know that if you have the steering wheel turned and you're offline and you push the throttle at that type of corner or RPM, then you're going to get a slide. So you should be prepared for those things as well. And yeah, I just thought I'd spend a bit of time on anticipation because it was a good piece of anticipation by Nico Hülkenberg to read the turn 8 and 9 chicane attack with Colapinto and Albon. Now, I wanted to spend some time in this video on turn 6. You guys know for the longest time I've been saying take the entry curb. That's where the lap time is. We didn't see Max do that in qualifying yesterday. We saw Lando mess that up yesterday. We saw Leclerc mess that up yesterday. The only person I thought made a reasonable attempt and a decent job at getting into the turn 6 entry curb was the pole sitter, George Russell. Well, how did that story evolve in the race? If you recall, in Imola, we saw that story evolve across the race as well. It was only lap 62 or lap 63. That is the final 2 laps where I saw anyone take that chicane decently. So I was keen to follow how this story evolved throughout the race as well. Let's bring up a picture now. I'm going to compare Max during the race to his qualifying lap. So hopefully you can see that on the screen in front of you. The top is Max's qualifying lap going completely around turn 6. And I'd argue that he's gone a bit deep and he's missed his apex point here, because taking the curb is going to allow you to get a straighter run through turn 7. And then we see in the race, as he's following George, this happens. Max at half a car width to the left, climbing all over this curb. Lovely. And, you know, I definitely support that, and I'm happy to see that. I think that's a better line. I think that's a good piece of driving as well. You can see as the cars start to run over it, then they're cleaning up. Remember, we saw this triangle in the live stream. They're starting to take away some of the grass here and clean that up. Again, it's giving you better entries into the turn 7 right-hander. It's going to allow you to open the steering and go on throttle earlier. So was Max the only driver that I saw do this? No, this is Antonelli in the race as well. Beautiful technique, getting the unloaded inside front tire connected in with that entry curb. Lovely. And then the other driver, Alex Albon, of course, doing the exact same technique. So it was just interesting because this is not something we've seen up to this point all weekend in practice, in qualifying. The guy's not really, like I said, George was in qualifying. I think that helped him get pole, but we haven't seen any of the drivers use it until now. Not to mention on the radio, on the outgrid, Karun Chandok gave us the information that Lando was asking his race engineer, is Oscar Piastri using the turn 6 entry curb? Can you check that for me? So I'm not sure, guys, why at this stage of the weekend, as per Imola, I gave you guys the context before. In Imola, none of the drivers using the first entry curb in the Tamburello chicane. And then come race day, Alex Albon was using the entry curb in the race to good effect and having good success with it. I'm not sure, therefore, why it's taking them so long, or they're only asking these questions between qualifying and the race. Why is Lando only now asking the question to his performance engineer or race engineer, Will or Jav, is Oscar Piastri using the turn 6 entry curb? Like, they're so far behind at that point, like you're about to start the race. Like, what have you been practicing in practice? What have you been doing in qualifying? Like, I'm being harsh here, but I'm also being, this is the reality, I'm being realistic. Like, that's not a question that you want to be asking at that point. You probably want to review that Friday afternoon, see which parts of the racetrack everyone is using. But then I would go a step further and say, why are you worried about what Oscar Piastri is doing? Like, who cares what Oscar's doing? Practice it for yourself, try it for yourself, learn it for yourself, set your own car up. Like, you, again, the practice is not just to practice a new floor or a new front wing and to get a fuel rate and get a read on tire life. No, it's also for you as the driver to go out there and feel the track and try 5 laps taking this curb or 5 laps not taking this curb, and then go back and compare the data. Like, that's what practice is for. It's driver practice as much as it is car setup and car development practice as well. So I think there's a massive piece missing in Formula One at the moment. It's evidently, you know, it's evident. You can see the difference between practice and the race in terms of the line the drivers are taking as they get more information and they get up to speed. I don't know. There's a massive gap there, because if you can just start the weekend on the right foot and qualify using these techniques, there is durable competitive advantage there. There is lower lap time there. In a sport told in tenths, no hundredths, no thousandths of a second, this surely matters. It was interesting to see some management through the turn 5 flat out right-hander, normally a flat out corner. But as we jumped on board with Max Verstappen in the early laps as he was following George, I heard him just get out of the throttle through turn 5. And then in the cool down room afterwards, George said, yeah, I didn't take turn 5 flat at any point during the race. Let me bring up the whiteboard now. I'll show you guys where we're talking about. So where we are talking about is this section of track through here, this fast flat out right-hander. There's 240 Ks there, 6th gear. Yeah, a lot of the drivers lifting through here. I think for a combination of fuel and tires. So fuel strategy. The cars start the race with less fuel than they actually need in anticipation for a yellow flag, a virtual safety car, a double yellow flag, a full safety car, a red flag, any opportunity where fuel saving can be done. Even rain is a fuel saving event. Being in dirty air behind traffic and not being able to pass is a fuel saving event. So you've got all these fuel saving events that could potentially happen during the race. Therefore, you want to start the race with less fuel than, let's say, the full 71 laps of full throttle. So I think for fuel management purposes and also for tire management purposes as well, just trying to look after the left-hand side of the car. That's the left front and the left rear. So if I just draw the 4 tires, as you come through that right-hander, this one here, then you're doing strain on the left front and the left rear as well. So just by lifting out of there ever so slightly, then you're actually conserving quite a lot this side of the car. That is the left front and left rear. So that was really interesting. But I thought at the phase of the race that Max was doing it, that is, it was kind of lap 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought that it would have been better for Max to stay inside DRS and keep it flat through those corners. I think that would have put more pressure on George and potentially made him push more as well. And, you know, I maybe tried something that way. I think just lifting there and losing the DRS, also giving up a lot of lap time. DRS is worth lap time as well, don't forget. So there would have been opportunities for Max to A, attack George, and B, pull away from Antonelli behind. But I don't know, the guys, obviously that's a strategic decision to lift through turn 5, but I just thought I'd call it out as an interesting piece of driving. Okay, guys, we need to talk now about the McLaren crash. Yep, a lot of guys in commentary said that was Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton 2011. I agree, very similar part of the racetrack, very similar move, front wing, the whole thing was all pretty much the same thing. There's not much to say from the driving point of view. I just didn't get it from Lando's side. Like there was never a space there. There was no space opening up there. There was never going to be an opportunity there. I'm not sure if in his head he thought I need to go and commit for the inside because he's maybe been hearing that. But again, as per what we saw with Antonelli at turn 1, around the outside of turn 1 gives you the inside into turn 2. That's also a play as well. I just think it was a big misread from Lando, and he said as much as well. So I don't think it was like whose fault was bring up the rule book, who's entitled to space, who's got their front wing ahead of the other guy's front wing and first to the apex and all that nonsense. This one was more clear cut. But I do want to spend a bit of time in Lando at this point to talk about the 4 areas of driver preparation and Lando's strengths and weaknesses. I'll bring up the whiteboard now and maybe we can explain it a bit easier. All right, so we're talking about Lando Norris, and you've got the 4 areas of driver preparation. So you've got physical preparation, which I'm not normally that interested in. I don't feel like it's responsible for that much lap time. Technical preparation, this is responsible for your lap time. This is literally your technique, how you push, like we were talking about with the curbs, how you push the brakes, push the throttle, push the steering, the line you take, the shifting, all of this is part of the technical. Then you've got the tactical, which, yeah, the lift and coast could fall into that category of fuel saving, tire saving, strategy, safety car restarts, attack, defense, racecraft. I think all of that comes in there in the tactical side. And then you've got the mental side as well, which is not just your mentality going into a weekend. It's your concentration, your attention span, your focus, ability to get distracted or not, where you land on the mental side. I specialize in these 3. Technical, tactical, and mental, because they not so strongly on the mental, because I'm not like a sports psychologist per se, but I think I've got a decent grasp of, you know, what it takes to have a champion mentality, how you should focus on things, and how you should basically, you know, trade time from the physical training and put it into the tactical and technical side. So why am I bringing this up? Well, I've thought for the longest time that Lando's biggest weaknesses are on the tactical side and on the mental side. Again, the physical side, like this is where the drivers spend the most time, and it's actually not that important. And then you've got where Lando's been better is in the technical side. So that story's changed a little bit this year because we've got the McLaren's got a lot strong front end, and Lando's very quick with his hands. He's struggling on the technical side for this reason. He's struggling with, as soon as he turns in and the back gets away from him, whereas Oscar's not having that problem. That's why Oscar out qualifying him, and Oscar's got more points and Oscar's got more wins, is because Lando's struggling on the technical side. But I say all that to say that on the tactical side is where Lando, I feel like, has his biggest weakness. That's his starts. Always seems to get bad starts last year. Reading the rules and the flags in Baku, in the rain in Brazil, with the start lights flashing. I think he went through a yellow flag flat in Qatar. And just general racecraft, attack and defense. Exactly what we saw here against Oscar Piastri down the pit straight in Montreal today. I don't think Lando's got a good read on wheel-to-wheel battle. I think he needs to spend the most time on the tactical side. And it goes without saying, like Lando's always talking about his mental health as if he's advocating for it. I think he's got a lot of work to do on the mental side as well, just to recenter on the technical and tactical, because that's where the lap time is. If I had to order this, guys, in terms of order of importance, You need lap time. That's number one. You can't do anything without that. I'd say 2 is the mental. You need to be able to deliver that often, consistent. 3 will be tactical because that's how you're going to manage and run your race. And then 4 will be physical. It's very unlikely that you're going to lose a race due to your fitness in this day and age. So where I would score Lando in terms of, his biggest strengths and weaknesses, he never seems to have a problem physically. So he's fine there. You see a 4 and a 1 across the top. I'd say technically, normally he's better. And then honestly, I'd give him the 3 and the 4 there. So you can see these numbers are a bit, around the wrong way for Lando Norris. I think he needs to spend a lot more time on the tactical side and the mental side, to score a 3 and a 4 there when they're the second and third most important respectively. I thought I'd give you guys an insight into that because that's where this one got away from Lando. It was a tactical error, a racecraft error, and it's not the first one. It won't be the last one. Looking ahead on the channel, guys, we've got the live stream coming up in 2 weeks for the Austria Grand Prix preview. I hope you can join me there. We're going to take off our chicanes hat. We've been talking all weekend about chicanes and the first entry curve and Imola and Canada and how to get through chicanes, what Jack Villeneuve said, what I said. If you want to learn about chicanes, you can go back through the videos this weekend, including the live stream. We're going to take off our chicanes hat. We're going to put on our braking hat because we've got uphill braking, downhill braking, and you need to be able to leverage all of these tools like driving tools, like brake balance, brake migration, engine braking, brake shape, trail braking. You need to leverage all these tools in the different braking zones going uphill and downhill in Austria. So we're going to be talking about that next weekend. Like I say, I hope you can join me there. If you learned something from this video, please leave me a comment. It definitely helps the video and channel move forward. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.